certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. We're continuing on our horror train. We're into the 2000s now, and I've got a bunch of people here. All people we haven't seen before in the horror special for a change. Over here we've got Chad. Chad, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. I don't know if the 2000s is the best decade for horror, but there are definitely some gems in there. We're a big horror household. You see the wife up there has a bunch of decorations and stuff. So, we're pretty excited for this time. Hopefully we can watch Halloween Kills after this.
And next up we've got Paige. Paige, how's it going?
It's actually for Betty versus Jason, Malcolm. But I forgive you on that. No, I'm so excited that I love horror films, so I'm very excited to chat about the 2000s because there are a lot of hidden gems in this decade that I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate that are becoming more of cult classics. So I'm happy to dive into those with you guys today.
And for Betty wins that match, by the way.
Yes,
For sure.
oh, most definitely.
And next up we've got Scary Kerry. Kerry, how's it going?
Good. Excited to be here. I'm really happy to that Malcolm, you invited Chad and I on one of these. We've been looking forward to it.
And last but not least, we've got insert clever horror name here. Jake, how's it going?
It's going. I'm not a huge horror fan, but I like the 2000s, so we'll see.
Nice.
But with that being said, how this works, we're going to go around the board and nominate horror movies we think belong on the top 12 list. And one thing is, if the people who haven't seen it, their vote's not going to count against the movie as a no vote. It's going to count out of the people who have actually seen the movie that it makes the list. So, but with that being said, I'm going to go to Chad first. Chad, what's the first movie you're going to bring up?
All right, I got to bring up one of my all-time favorite movies. You'll know it now. I'm a big Edgar Wright fan, so obviously I got to throw in Shaun of the Dead. I know a lot of people kind of give horror comedy not the best respect, I feel like, but I think Shaun of the Dead is one of those that happened to blur the lines of comedy and horror so well that it's just it's just one of the best watches in all the film, and it's just so rewatchable, and it really made Edgar Wright who he is today. And just some of the scares that they have in that movie as well, even just like the ends, like right before they're saved, you're like, shit, are we about to see him kill everybody and they kill himself? And it just gets really dark at times. And then when I was a young lad of 14 watching this in the theater, when what's his face, David, gets like ripped to shreds by the zombies, I'm like, it's one of the best movies ever made. All right.
Paige, what do you say about Shaun of the Dead?
Hell yeah, man. I mean, this is, I think, the best horror comedy movie we've ever gotten in any decade, to be completely honest with you. I mean, this is kind of the start of something beautiful between Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, so you can't go wrong with this. This movie is amazing. It's a cult classic. Forever one of the greats. Horror, comedy, whatever category you want to put it in. It deserves to be on this
Hell
list.
yeah.
And Kerry, what do you say about Shaun of the Dead?
I say yes. This was on my list as well, and it's just a fantastic movie. It's always great to throw this on. And I think a lot of the scares are underappreciated in this movie because it is so funny as well. But I think it does the zombie genre perfectly, and the special effects are actually amazing in this movie. Like Chad said, when one of the characters gets ripped to shreds, they could have cheaped out on the special effects, and they didn't. It's awesome.
And Jacob, what do you say about Shaun of the Dead?
Absolutely, yes. This was going to be the first movie I brought up. I'm not surprised that it's the
Nice.
first one to be brought up. I think it blends horror and comedy together perfectly, and it's just a fantastic movie on every level.
But yeah, like, well, yes, it is the criticisms that it is more comedy than horror. It is still a horror
Whatever, DS.
comedy. It fits the genre. I mean, it's one of those ones like, and there's definitely been discussions on other episodes of this when horror comedies come up. As like, oh, I see it more as a comedy and that. But it's like it's still essentially a horror comedy. It blends the horror elements in perfectly. And I would have suggested Shaun of the Dead regardless. But with that, we move over to Paige. What is the first one you're going to bring up?
Ooh, the first one. You know what? I'll throw this one out there first. For me, I mean, I think I would win in a fight against him. That's why it's Freddy versus Jason. But I think one of the best remakes we got in the 2000s was the 2009 Friday the 13th film. I love that film. It doesn't take itself too serious. It doesn't jump back into like an origin story. It kind of just jumps right to it, and we see Jason at his finest. I think he's so badass in this film. It's gory, it's funny, it's quirky at some points, but I love this film, and I feel like a Jason film has to be on here. So Friday the 13th, 2009, I think is definitely better than Jason X. So what do you guys think?
Kiri, what do you say about Friday the 13th, 2009?
I agree. This is a fun movie. I love the original a lot, but this is a really fun remake, and Jared Padalecki is really hot in it. So I'll say yes. And Jason is badass as always.
Yes.
Jacob, what do you say about Friday the 13th, 2009?
I'll give it a yes. I actually saw this before I saw the original. And so it made me want to go back and watch the series, which I think is a good thing. And yeah, no, I thought it was a really solid, great performances all around. Jason is a badass, like already mentioned. Yeah, I'll give it a yes.
But yeah, this is one of those ones I personally don't like. I mean, I like Jared Padalecki. I like Danielle Panabaker. I mean, this is one I saw for the first time. Maybe on rewatches it might go up, but I kind of would have said no. I mean, it's definitely not my favorite one featuring Jason in this decade. That will probably come up a little bit later. But Chad, what would you have said about Friday the 13th, 2009?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest as well, Malcolm. It's good that it has 3 champions because I really don't like that movie like at all. It's fun that Jared.
It's my favorite fun. Friday the 13th film.
That's what's up. It's fun that Jared Padalecki is in it because I love him in Supernatural. But other than that, it's just kind of another run of the mill one for me. I'm glad that it does have its champions though, because I think a lot of movies should. But yeah, there is another Jason movie that I honestly probably would have picked over that one. Roll your eyes all you want for Brady.
I have to.
Wait, okay.
And Chris is saying in the comments that he thinks it's kind of a sequel to the original one because apparently they show the ending of the original at the start.
Oh, that's true.
They do.
But
with that being said, I can't tell the difference between a remake and a reboot, to be honest. Really,
I mean, look, I would say it's more of it's still classed as a remake. I mean,
it's a reimagining, if you will.
There we go. That's a good word for it.
But anyway, Kiri, what's the first one you're going to bring up?
Okay, the first one I'm going to bring up is a foreign film and one that scared the shit out of me even after I became like pretty jaded about horror and things scaring me, and that's Juwon the Grudge, the original Japanese version. I think this one is terrifying, and I love the remake as well. It features Sarah Michelle Gellar, who's like my absolute favorite, but I think the original does just such a tremendous job, and it's so frightening. This is like the exact type of horror that scares me. So that's going to be my first nomination.
Jacob, what do you say about Juwon the Grudge?
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, when it comes to horror movie, like when it comes to horror movies and that, haven't got around to seeing a lot of them. This is not one of them. I haven't actually seen the remake of this. So, this is one I was like, oh yeah, the remake probably won't come up. I won't watch it for this. But anyway, so yeah, Chad, what do you say about Juwon the Grudge?
Well, first of all, I do say all hail Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But, Carrie, I think that's one of the ones that you watched without me because I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I haven't seen that or the remake. So I'm sure they're terrifying, though.
Oh my gosh. All right. We're going to have to watch these soon.
Fix it. Okay.
That Paige, what would you have said about Juwon the Grudge?
Honestly, I have not seen the original. And it sucks to say. I don't know why this is how I feel. I don't like the remake. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. I don't know. I just those type of movies like don't do it for me. Like that and like The Ring. I don't know. They just really don't like. I don't know. Japanese horror. I don't know why. Very hit or miss for me. I feel like.
Watch House instead.
I will then.
But
that's a good one.
Next up, we've got Jacob. Jacob was the first one you're going to bring up.
I've been debating between two that I wanted to bring up first. I think I will go with 2008's The Strangers.
Ooh, that was on my list.
This movie terrified me, and it's such a simple premise. Like, why are you doing this? Because you were home. And it like left me feeling so uneasy, and I'm like checking my doors, making sure they're locked after I'm done watching it before I go to bed. And I'm like, oh man, this movie was just terrifying, and it's so simple. And I love the shots where you see the strangers in the background while the main characters are just going about their business and trying to survive, I guess. So yeah, The Strangers. It'll be my first nomination.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that I tried to find to watch for this, but it's not streaming anywhere for me, and it's just, and I'll just basically ran out of time essentially. Chad, what do you say about The Strangers?
That's a really great pick, Jacob. I gotta say, yeah, I think because it kind of is in the same vein as like Halloween, the original Halloween, where it's like she was just home, they were just home, and that's why they were picked to, experience these horrors. And I just think it's just so well done. I heard the sequels even, maybe not the greatest, but it's, super well shot and just like, really good blast. And I think, just experiencing the dread of like, why is this happening? And I think that's another thing about like, In Cold Blood and, a lot of these, horrific murders that just happen, and that's just the scariest part. Is there's really no motive except for some people just want to watch the world burn. Yes, The Strangers.
Paige, what do you say about The Strangers?
Hell yeah! When it comes for horror, for me, I love simplicity. Like something simple, straight. Like that's why I love the '78 Halloween film, because it's so simple. Like one location, pretty much. And just the vibe and the horror of it all, of just being in your home and someone terrorizing you, like that can really happen at any point. And these aren't monsters or anything. These are just human beings that are bored with their lives and just want to create horror for others, I guess. Like I remember when I first saw this movie and then I rewatched it again in college. Every time I watch this movie, it still scares the heebie-jeebies out of me, and it sticks with me so well. And the two lead performances, Scott Speedman, and Liv Tyler.
Tyler, yeah. Mm.
So good. I'm just like, oh, these poor people. This man just he proposed to his girlfriend, she says no, and then just bad things just start happening through the rest of the night. Maybe if she said yes, things would have turned a different way. Who knows? But yes.
But with that, The Strangers does make this list. Kerry, what would you have said?
I would have said yes as well. I think this film is terrifying, and it's also just a fantastic film in general. And it's one, like Paige said, that really sticks with you. It still terrifies you, and you think about it after you've watched it, and I think that's what some of the best horror movies do.
But
Your turn, Malcolm the Dead.
It is.
Of the Dead.
But yeah, I'm going to probably get a string of haven't seen this, because I'm going to bring up a non-US movie. This one was made in New Zealand. It's a horror comedy that I really enjoyed. That I'm bringing up. It's called Black Sheep. Essentially,
I've heard of
basically,
it. I haven't seen it.
I believe it is on Tubi in the US. But basically, the premise of this is these sheep have been mutated, and they attack humans, and they become sort of zombie sheep hybrid kind of creatures. It's a really fun horror comedy, and it's just one of those ones. It's almost something that Taika Waititi would bring up, but would invent, but it really isn't. It's just if you really want to see these Franken rare sheep creatures, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I just brought it up because I wanted to get more people to know about this movie, because it's a lot of fun. And yeah, Chad, have you seen it?
I have not. I've never heard of it. And it's apparently it doesn't star Chris Farley and David Spade. But that's kind of what this is all about, is getting people to watch dope movies. So thank you for bringing it up, Malcolm.
Paige, have you seen Black Sheep?
I haven't, and I actually was, when I was making my list today, I saw this on like recommendations, and I was like, I've definitely heard of this movie, and I just never got around to see it. I actually love New Zealand films. Like, I mean, maybe it's because I love Taika Waititi, so like everything like similar like to that, I just enjoy so much. So I feel like I would definitely enjoy this movie. I guess it doesn't need John Candy to be great. So,
Kiri, have you seen Black Sheep?
Unfortunately not. It's on my to watch list, but we haven't gotten around to that one yet. But like you said, I'm super excited actually to hear your recommendation, and that makes me even more excited to see it.
And Jacob, have you seen Black Sheep?
I haven't, but I almost want to give it a yes just for the premise alone. That sounds fantastic.
I mean, you can give it a yes anyway. It's not going to matter too much now. But with that, we go back to Chad.
I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I'm going to do The Descent. I actually had to include this. I had to watch this for a second time for a debate over in TMG, and I'm so glad I did, because the first time I watched this, I didn't love it, and then the second time, I adore this movie now. I just think it's like so creepy. You know, just reading about how they like actually built these like cave sets, and then we've also recently watched another Neil Marshall horror film, and I just love his style. This one is it's really cool how, you know, they were originally thinking about doing like a mixed cast, but then they were like, nah, let's do all female cast, because like, when do you see that in horror movies? And I just thought that was like a really cool choice. And I think like a lot of the character dynamics in this are great, and there's some like really unexpected like kills, and you know, the final girl in this one is so cool, and she's like covered in blood at one point. It just looks so badass. And I just really love this movie. It's very hard to watch if you're afraid of heights and close spaces. It's a really good horror film.
What movie was it? Sorry,
The Descent.
The Descent. Paige, what do you say about The Descent?
I actually had it on my list too. I wasn't sure if anyone else was going to bring it up, but yeah, no, this movie is awesome. I remember when I first saw it. Even like the second one is like so great as well. Like the whole premise of like cave diving and it being an all-female cast, and just showing like, but there's like more to it than just that. Like there's stuff going on, like relationship status between people and people screwing each other over. And like when you're down there in those close spaces and things start attacking you, what else can go wrong besides drama outside your real world, when you should just be focusing on being down there? This movie is so great though, and I don't think it gets enough love. Neil Marshall directed the hell out of this movie. not so much the new Hellboy movie. But besides that point, this movie is awesome, and I think way more people need to see it, and because it deserves all the love it needs to get. So yes.
Kerry, what do you think about The Descent?
I agree 100%. This has quickly become one of my favorite movies, and as Chad can unfortunately attest, the only horror movie that's ever made me actually scream.
It was like a delayed scream there, like, you know, like I saw the thing, and then it was like 2 seconds later, and then she freaks the hell out. Jesus.
Thankfully, none of our neighbors like called the cops or anything.
Or did
that loud.
And I'm usually not scared by like monster type movies, and this one was actually terrifying. So this is a definite yes for me.
Jacob, what do you think about The Descent?
I'm gonna say yes also. Yeah, this movie is terrifying. I don't think I can watch it a second time. I mean, maybe one day I'll try, because it is a really good movie. But yeah, no, it was just terrifying. Like, yeah, close spaces really, like, I'm not a fan of those. So a rewatch of this might not be in my immediate future, but it still was really good. And yeah, I think it deserves to be on the list.
Yeah. Before I go into mine, because Descent is making the list anyway. The only reason I spaced out was I was looking for pictures. These are actually,
and they're pissed off.
Yeah.
I feel like I've definitely seen the trailer for that movie, and it looks hilarious.
Oh yeah, I mean it's one of those ones that, like, there's a good chance you probably see the trailer somewhere. But yeah, it's easy for The Descent. Like, I watched this for the first time last year with a bunch of people who, to be honest, we were all making fun of the movie for how crazy it got at times and how stupid some of these characters were for doing the stuff they were doing. But this was a lot.
I think cave diving in general is just nonsense, but there's that.
They were supposed to do an easier cave, though.
That is true.
Someone fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found this really enjoyable. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was definitely the first horror movie I've watched that's kind of made me really uncomfortable. And I'm a fan of the Saw franchise, so if The Descent to make me uncomfortable, then I don't know if that says anything about me. But anyway, Paige, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Ooh, I have so many options that are spooky and horrifying. But for me, I'm going to go with a franchise that I really dig. The first one is not my first choice, but I'm going to go with it because it's what started the whole franchise, which was Final Destination. I love those films. I think it's James Wong is the guy that directed the first and the third one, and those two are my favorite. The third one is my favorite. I don't go on roller coasters or go in tanning beds because of that movie. But for me, like, the whole premise of death following you and chasing you and you can't escape death pretty much is horrifying in itself, but also, like, the kills are just insane in these movies, and oh man, this franchise is just messed up, and I love every second of it. Call me a crazy person, but what do you guys think?
You're a crazy person.
Gary, what do you think about Final Destination?
I say yes. This is a great movie. I think Chad and I somewhat recently, went through all 5 of them, and except for the fourth one, they're all pretty great. And the first one and the fifth one, I think, are my favorites. Like Paige said, the first one started it all, and I think it's actually a really cool concept. So I say yes, yeah.
Jacob, what do you say about Final Destination?
I'll say yes also. It was on my list. Yeah, cool concept. Kills are great, and yeah, I think the franchise is great too. And this was a good start to it all.
But yeah, this was also on my list. This was going to be an easy yes. I mean, my favourite of this will probably come up next week. And I mean, by process of elimination, you might know which one it is anyway. But I do like 3. And I really, this is one of those ones I really appreciate physical media because, well, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, but for Final Destination 3, they had the special choose your own path edition of Final Destination 3, so you could choose, you could actually change how the movie went by having. Because I know there was a thing about the tanning beds going, you can change something and then they both die or some.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the third one's my favorite, but it's probably because of I do own it, and that whole premise of being able to do it is really cool.
And if you really want a good choose your own adventure, watch Escape the Undertaker on Netflix at the moment. It's really fun. But anyway, Chad, what would you have said about Final Destination?
Yeah, this is definitely on my list as well. Because it's just one of the most fun franchises, I think, and especially like the first two. And I mean, I love the third, and I think the fifth may be my favorite. The fourth is barely a movie, but the first two, where they have like the dude, like especially in the second one, where they have the dude cooking in his kitchen, just playing Incubus and stuff. It's like so of its time, but it's just so great to watch of its time. And I really miss Devon Sawa. I wish he didn't die in the first one. I'd love to see a sixth movie with him. It's just like you're saying, like watching this movie, not knowing where the next thing's going to come from. It's just it's just kind of like way more terrifying, I think, than most like slasher horror killers and stuff, because I mean generally you can see where those are coming from, but this could be anything, and it's actual death that's coming after you. And who also doesn't love a dope ass Tony Todd
I was gonna say none of us mentioned Tony Todd. Yeah, another great horror film that he's in, franchise that he's in. So
but yeah, definitely bring up that Final Destination 5, Malcolm. It's dope.
Yeah. And
Great
I don't know. They could bring Devon Sawa back. The sixth movie could be called Final Destination Zombies. They survived once. Now they have to survive again. But Kerry, what is the next movie you're going to bring?
Okay. I'll go with the one that's on my shirt, which is Trick or Treat.
I was going to say that one, but I chose Final Destination instead. So good job.
Nice. This is such a fun horror movie, such a fun just Halloween movie, and just an example of anthology films I feel like are very hard to pull off, and this one I think does it perfectly because all of the stories kind of tie into each other while all also having kind of their own scope, and just I don't know. This one is so fun, and it's also super scary. Like some of the stories in this are so terrifying, like the one where the kids all go down in that little mine shaft thing.
Bus.
That one's terrifying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the bus, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Jacob, what do you say about Trick or Treat?
I say yes. This was actually the next movie I was going to bring up. I'm not going to repeat it. Just every reason that Carrie brought up. This movie was great. I just watched it for the first time not too long ago, and yeah, no, it's really great. I think the anthology aspect to it works really well, and I like the way they tied it all together. It worked really well. So yes.
Yeah, I've just simply not seen it. Chad, what do you say about Trick or Treat?
Well, Malcolm, I highly recommend it. I gotta say, hearing Trick or Treat with an R or whatever, it just sounds kind of like a dumb title at first, but then like you watch the movie and it's kind of brilliant. I think the best since the original Creepshow anthology, and I do agree with Carrie everything she said about all of the different stories linking in, and then you have like the one little weird like trick-or-treater creature. Sam, there you go.
Yeah.
He's iconic, and he's got like that like lollipop thing that's like bitten, and he stabs people with it. It's just like insane. It's just a really fun movie. There's a lot of really cool cameos like Anna Paquin and a lot of really cool people in this one. And it's just a really fun movie, and it gets kind of sad at times, like especially like those kids going down on that bus. It's just like a lot of really creepy stories. I love it.
And Paige, what do you say about Trick or Treat?
Hell yeah, it was on my list. I was between that and Final Destination and what to say next. So I'm glad Scary Carrie took it from me, so at least it's on the list. But yeah, to echo what everyone else said, like it's a great anthology film. It's probably one of the best ones since we've gotten since Creepshow in the 80s. So for me, like I love this film. What they did with it, the stories within the film, and how they are like not cohesive, but like are linked together and stuff. And that little Sam dude, man, he scares the shit out of me, but he's so cute at the same time. No, he's not cute, but he is. So yes.
But Jacob, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
All right, I debated on bringing this one up because I don't know how many people will consider it. I think it's got horror aspects to it. I'm gonna bring up Sweeney Todd. I love this movie. I think it's great. I think it definitely has horror aspects to it, in my opinion, and I think they are done extremely well. I think Johnny Depp gives a fantastic performance. Alan Rickman, like everyone in this movie, gives a fantastic performance. The music is great. The kills are really cool, like just the way the blood shoots out of the neck. And I think the final shot. Well, I don't think it's the final shot, but the shot of Mrs. Lovett in the fire is just. I think it's terrifying. I've seen this movie more times than I can count. I think it's great, and yeah. So I'll bring up Sweeney Todd, although I'm not sure how much love it's going to get as a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is the issue with going through Wikipedia sometimes, because like they have good lists on there, and this is one that they didn't actually have on there, so I didn't actually put it on my personal list. But this is one I love Sweeney Todd. It totally is a horror movie.
Yeah, the only reason because when I looked up horror movies on Letterboxd, this was on the list. So
yeah, and it's definitely one of those ones. But yeah, this one is an absolute yes for me. It's a lot of fun, and look, this is what proved to me Alan Rickman could sing. I had no idea he could. I had no idea he could sing until this. And yeah, it's a yes. Chad, what do you say about Sweeney Todd?
Yeah, I agree with both of you, in a fun in a lot of different ways. I do agree that this counts as a horror movie. I mean, it's not like one of the most scary movies ever, but I mean, like you're baking cats into pies. There's murder.
Humans.
So it's. Oh, is it humans? I thought it was cats, and or cats initially.
she sings about cats in the first song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's where I got humans too. Anyway, yeah. So that's even scarier. But yeah. Also, Alan Rickman is a classically trained actor. Of course, he can do anything, or could. R.I.P. But yeah. I remember seeing this when I was working in a movie theater back in the day, and I really enjoyed it then. I haven't seen it in a very long time. I don't know how good it is, but I've heard a lot of people praise it. So, for me, I think it would be fun to have a musical on the list. So, and I think everybody does a great job, singing in it, and it's a really fun movie. So I'll say, yeah, Sweeney Todd, sure.
Paige, what do you say to Sweeney Todd?
For me, the cast is stacked, and the performances are amazing. The songs are really great as well. But for me, I don't know. I just have so many other. There's so many other films in the 2000s that I feel like deserve to be on this list. So I'm sorry, Jacob. Don't kill me. It's a no for me.
Kiri, what would you have said about Sweeney Todd?
I say yes. I'm glad you brought this up, Jacob. It brings me back to high school when this movie first came out. And we don't get too many horror musicals, and this one I think is a really fantastic one. And some of my favorite actors, especially Alan Rickman.
But it's on me again, and I'm going to bring up one I actually watched for the first time for this list, and it's one that does hit close to home at the moment with the whole pandemic and all that. I'm bringing up 2002's Cabin Fever, directed by Eli Roth, and this is one they go out, a bunch of kids go out camping, and then they contract this mysterious virus, and they all slowly sort of die off. But I mean, this is one that, it's just seeing how they react. and I know one of them just runs off and then comes back and murders them as when he sees how bad they've deteriorated. But this is just one of those ones like it's more psychological than actual scary. But in saying that, just watching these people sort of start sort of bleeding all over the place, and then especially the shot of this one girl when she gets turned over, you actually see her barely a skull with skin. Is like it's just one of those shots. But I really enjoyed this movie. It's not often something I give something like a really high grade on a first watch, but this is a fun movie. But Chad, what do you say about Cabin Fever?
Well, because of Carrie, I've actually started to listen to Eli Roth's podcast where he talks to people about horror stuff. And it's really fun to listen to him talk, but I honestly haven't seen many of his movies. And Cabin Fever, I've never seen, unfortunately. But I'd be willing to check it out.
Paige, what do you say about Cabin Fever?
Is this the one with Drake Bell in it? I know there's a few Cabin Fever, so I can't remember.
Yeah,
This
there's-
is it's got Ryder Strong.
Yeah, it's got
Sean
what's
from
his face
Boy
on
Meets
Boy-
World.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
Oh,
that's who it is. That's why I was thinking it was Drake Bell.
Hunter. Nice.
Yep, it is Hunter. I'm sorry, guys. For me, I remember watching this movie like when I was in college. Like we would always binge like horror movies and stuff. And I remember this is one that we just like randomly picked and threw on. And man, this movie is fucked up. I hope I can swear it's fucked up. If not, yeah. I mean, this movie. It's definitely gruesome. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend if you like horror movies. I love horror, but I'm not into gruesome like movies like Saw and Hostel and stuff. But for me, this movie definitely like sticks with it. I like cabin movies though, like Blair Witch Project. I think is awesome. So anything like set in the woods, I think is like a good horror vibe to it. So for me, it's a yeah.
Kiri, what do you say about Cabin Fever?
Unfortunately, here, same as Chad, this is a deficiency in my horror movie watch list. It's like on my list to watch, and we haven't gotten around to it yet. I wish we had before we did this.
And Jacob, what do you say about Cabin Fever?
I'll give it a yes. Yeah. For all the reasons I already mentioned, I won't waste any more time. Yeah, it's really good. Very psychological, like you said, Malcolm. So yeah, I'll give it a yes. Why not?
And with that, Cabin Fever does make the list, and we go over to Chad.
All right. I got to get one of my boys' movies on the list here. Hopefully, I'm going to go Drag Me to Hell. This movie's a fucking baller movie. Sam Raimi's one of the greats. There's no Evil Deads up here except for in 2013. So I got to throw Drag Me to Hell on the list because I think, it does exactly what, every Sam Raimi, horror comedy or whatever does, where it like blends horror and comedy so well, just like Shaun of the Dead, but different. It's like super campy at times, and I think it works so well in this. And it's just like all of the imagery with this gypsy woman who keeps haunting this girl because she denied her a bank loan. And it's just like one of the most insane premises, and just like really fun. There's one part I really hate about the movie, but other than that, with certain animals, but other than that, it's really scary to watch every time and really funny. But it also has one of like the greatest endings in like all of horror, I think, because like you expect something to happen and they totally just subvert that, and the thing that is rumored to happen actually happens, and it's insane. I love it though.
But Paige, what do you say?
I'm so bad. Maybe you can take my horror card away, but I have not seen this whole movie. Like I like remember pieces of it, like definitely them in the bank and her like getting denied for like the loan and all that stuff. Other than that, I really don't remember much of this movie because I don't think I've seen it all. But I heard it's very good. So I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Kiri, what do you say about Drag Me to Hell?
I say yes. This is one of my favorite horror movies, and Sam Raimi is just generally one of my favorite directors. I think this movie is so fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it has all of the classic horror elements. There are some jump scares in there. There's great special effects and some gruesome stuff in there, just like Sam Raimi always does for you. So that's a yes from me.
Jacob, what do you say about Drag Me to Hell?
Yeah, the movie sounds very familiar, but I just can't remember if I've seen it or not.
Interesting.
Yeah, I also haven't seen this. It's
Wow.
so unfortunately, it's
Take
not
all of
going
our
to make
horror
the list
cards away.
with 3 people
I never
not
had
seeing
Thank you.
No, I never had one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not going. This is one I wanted to watch for this, but the only place was streaming. I had to pay money for it. And I just didn't have the money to rent it at this point. But But with that being said, on Paige was the next movie you could bring up.
You know what, guys? I'm throwing it out there. I hate the word guilty pleasure because it's just a pleasure of mine. But I love Jennifer's Body. That movie is so good. I feel like the marketing when it first came out back in the day was so deceiving of what the film really was. I mean, watching Megan Fox, who's a hot ass bitch, eat boys, like what's better than that? I mean, I love the whole movie. It's cheesy, but it's also like gory and crazy, and who doesn't love a great teen horror film? And Jennifer Body does it for me. Karen Kusama, mwah, great job, Chica. What do you guys think?
Kerry, what do you say about Jennifer's Body?
I agree. Chad and I watched this movie fairly recently, I think within the last year or two. We missed out on it when it first came out, and I absolutely adore this movie. I think the cast in this is so great. From Megan Fox to Amanda Seyfried, and then Adam Brody as the bad guy is so great.
J.K. Simmons is in this movie.
Yeah.
What? He has a hook for a hand.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think this is just a great, I don't know, commentary on kind of high school, and I don't know. That's a yes for me.
Jacob, what do you say about Jennifer's Body?
I say Jennifer's Body was a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting to like it when I watched it, but I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. And yeah, no, it was a lot better than expected. Great performances all around. Yeah, like you said about Adam Brody, I agree 100%. Chris Pratt as a officer.
He's in the movie too.
I can't remember his name. Officer Roman Duda.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give it a yes. And it's not a guilty pleasure. It's just a pleasure, like you said.
Exactly. It really is.
Yeah, I'm with you, Paige. I hate the word guilty. I hate the term guilty pleasure. It's just I also hate the word hot take, which is it's just a take. But Jennifer's Body is a fun movie. It's going to be yes for me as well. It's going to make this list.
Chad's very mad that Jack Hell didn't get on the list.
It is just a fun movie. This is one. When I first watched, Megan Fox is in this. I'm probably not going to enjoy it. I enjoyed it. Megan Fox was was actually fun.
Right? She's actually good in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Megan Fox gets the same kind of treatment as Kristen Stewart's. She's not that great of an actress. All that. She is really good. I mean, even in the Transformers movies, you may not like those movies, she was good in them. But Chad, what do you have to say about Jennifer's Body?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it made the list. I know that there's a lot of people out there who champion this movie as an underrated, thing that the critics got wrong, and maybe it was a marketing issue. Who knows? But Carrie and I did watch this because I know a lot of people are like, this one's underrated, and I love this movie. It's like a masterpiece and all this stuff. I think people are going a little overboard with this damn movie. I did not think it was that great. I enjoyed some aspects of it, but like I wouldn't say that this was one I have to watch all the time. But I do think maybe I should give it another watch just to see if I can get to the adore it status that Carrie seems to be on, because I am just not there with this movie. But I do love me some Adam Brody. I'm a big OC fan. But it's on the list. So that's great.
But with that, we're going to move over to Kerry for her next nomination.
Okay. I might be kind of a basic bitch for suggesting this one, but ghost movies and like demon movies are kind of the thing that scares me the most. So I want to try to at least get one on the list. So my next nomination is Paranormal Activity. I think this was, they had like almost no budget for this movie, unknown actors, and just like the Blair Witch Project, it totally paid off. I think it was just like realistic enough that everyone, including myself, kind of like bought into it. And it's just a good time. It's a good scary movie. So that's my next recommendation or suggestion.
Jacob, what do you say about Paranormal Activity?
This is a franchise that I have not gotten around to watching yet.
I own all of them on Blu-ray. I'll send them to you, man.
Well, my fans fell over, so. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to like Paranormal Activity. I think I got about halfway into this movie, like, this really isn't for me. I mean, if it gets back, and it's definitely going to get back to me for at least one more pick, but there's another found footage movie that I think is a lot better and should be on here over it. Chad, what do you say about Paranormal Activity?
I don't know. I mean, as much as I want to make the wife happy, it's
Make her happy.
it's just one of those where, I mean, I've seen this. It came out when I was scared to see movies in the theater that are horror, but I've seen it. I think a lot of found footage movies can do that thing where they have a really small budget, and then, you know, maybe they're slightly effective, so people really go see it in droves because of word of mouth and stuff. And it happened with the Blair Witch, but I think where Paranormal Activity isn't, Blair Witch is actually like kind of a brilliant movie. But maybe other people have thought where they think that that's overrated. I don't know, but I'm kind of there where I don't really love Paranormal Activity. I think it's just people in a house with, you know, sped up cameras a lot, and I just think it's a little overrated in my opinion. So I'd probably say no for it.
And Paige, what would you have said about Paranormal Activity?
I would have said how flippin' yeah, but screw all you guys. Karen and I got similar taste, I guess, and you guys are just whack as hell. No, this movie, I mean, I love found footage films, and out of the 6 films, this is definitely my favorite one. I like low budget horror films. I think is the way to do it with horror, and this movie definitely scared the hell out of me. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, is this real? I'm confused. Like, it was spooky.
But that, unfortunately, for Paranormal Activity is not making this list. Jacob, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I think I will bring up the mockumentary Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I thought this movie was so well done. I thought it was so smart. I remember being pleasantly surprised. I knew nothing about it. I just saw the title and I was like, okay, cool. Let's put this in. And I was glued to my screen. I loved it. I thought it was a really cool take on like the serial killer aspect and like a behind the scenes of what the serial killer goes through. And then that switch towards the end of the movie, and it just gets really, really terrifying, I think. So yeah, I'll go Behind the Mask.
I've only heard of this in passing. I've not actually seen it. Chad, what do you say about Behind the Mask?
I've never actually heard of it. I didn't even know what the movie was when he was saying it. What's the title of it?
It's called Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
It's really good.
Paige, what do you say about Behind the Mask of the Rise of Leslie Vernon?
I didn't know what it was either. I just looked it up. That's why I was just on my phone real quick. It looks scary as hell, and it has a good Rotten Tomato score on it. Not that that means anything, because
It's got Freddy
everyone's
Krueger in it.
score. What? What'd you say?
Freddy Krueger's in it. Well, Robert Englund.
Yeah, Rob. Okay, that's why I was like, wait, what? No, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't seen it. I just looked at it though, and it does look spooky as hell. So I'm definitely gonna add it to my list though. So I'm sorry it doesn't get added, but at least now you've brought a new film to my horizon.
But Kiri, what did you say about Behind the Mask?
Same as everyone else. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it. I've only heard good things about it. Jacob, though, your recommendation makes me even more excited to see it.
Same.
So on me, I'm a little bit of quandary because there's about two that I want to bring up. One I think will probably come up later. The other one I'm not so sure about. I'm going to bring up the one I'm not so sure about. I'm going to bring up Cloverfield. Look, say what you want about Cloverfield. Like, there's a lot of people go that say this is more science fiction and horror. It is still a horror science fiction movie. And this is the found footage movie that is a really truly scary watch, because it's one of those ones that, I mean, no one ever saw coming, because we got this trailer out of the blue somewhere, like, go watch this movie. It's like no one, like, and this is like something J.J. Abrams as well, is like just surprising people for movies, because I think they did the similar kind of marketing thing for 10 Cloverfield Lane. And then
and the other one too. They just dropped the trailers out of nowhere. Like,
if there was no third one,
yeah,
yeah, Cloverfield is great, and this is, and I don't think any of these actors are really known for anything. It is just, but this is just really fun because, like, starting off at this party, like, you don't think it's going to be a horror movie, but then it's then as soon as all the shit starts going down, they run around just crazy. But yeah, Cloverfield's my pick. Chad, what do you say about Cloverfield?
I actually did see, I think most of this went back when I worked at the theater, but I don't really remember it. I don't remember how scary it was, and I honestly, like, you know, I would like just way preferred 10 Cloverfield Lane. I think whatever Cloverfield was, they did it like 10 times better, I think, in the sequel. You know, but I do really want to go back and revisit that one, but I just can't really say that it deserves to be on the list without a rewatch.
Paige, what do you say about Cloverfield?
so 10 Cloverfield Lane is, like, honestly, like, one of my favorite movies. I love that film, but I also love this movie too. Matt Reeves, I feel like, can really do no wrong.
Oh, fuck, he did this movie?
He did, yeah. And I think I mentioned it real quick before we even went live. I was like, is it considered one? Like, it's hard to say, but for me, I consider it a horror movie. I like found footage as well, and I feel like this movie does a real good job with the camera work within the scope of the film. And hell yeah, I love monster movies, and I think this deserves to be on the list. So yes.
Kiri, what do you say about Cloverfield?
This is actually, I think, the only horror movie Chad has seen that I haven't seen. So unfortunately, I can't say anything. I haven't seen it.
Which means, Jacob, it's on you. Does Cloverfield make this list?
It doesn't, because I haven't seen it yet. I've seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I think it's fantastic, but I have not seen this one yet.
And actually, because Kiri and Jacob haven't seen it, 3 people still have seen it. So, and 2 of them said yes. So, Cloverfield does make this list.
I hate this rule.
Wait, I mean,
we have it. We should watch it, Chad.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
We have
But
it.
anyway, move over to.
Oh, if you have it, watch it. It's a very hard find, actually. It's hard to find that on. I own it too, but it was very hard for me to find like a digital copy of it.
Yeah. But Chad, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
It's probably the last one I'm going to be able to nominate, so I'm this is really hard, but at least I have some honorable mentions here. I'm gonna do one that I believe this director totally freaking deserves to be on this list, and I think this is one of his scarier movies just because of the crazy, creepy like creature design and just the tone of everything in this movie. I'm gonna go with Pan's Labyrinth because I love Guillermo del Toro, and we did a recent binge because of a debate that I was doing, and I watched a lot of them, and I think this is one of his top tier. It's probably his best movie. I think it has a lot of different elements in it. It has a lot of drama, but I think at its core, it's definitely this creepy horror like fantasy, and I just think it's like a perfect movie. The creature design is really scary and just so creative, and I love this movie. Pan's Labyrinth.
Paige, what do you say about Pan's Labyrinth?
I was actually talking about this movie last night with someone, and yeah, I agree. I mean, the creature design, I love like physical effects. I'm not really a big fan of CGI, and what Guillermo del Toro does with this film with the effects, the practical effects are insane, beautiful. I love Guillermo del Toro as well. For me, I think he has two masterpieces, which is The Shape of Water and Pan's Labyrinth. So
Devil's Backbone too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, so we won't mention that. But yeah, for me, I love this movie. It is in Spanish, but I mean, go watch it in the way it's intended to. It's a great film. Sorry, I'm like kicking everything right now. It's a great film, and hell yeah, it deserves to be on this list. It's beautiful.
Kerry, what do you say about Pan's Labyrinth?
I say yes. I consider this a horror film. It really borders the line on kind of drama and horror, but I think some of the best horror films kind of cross over into into comedy or into drama and really kind of enrich their characters. And this has, like Chad said and like Paige said, just fantastic visual effects, fantastic monsters in this movie. So this is a yes for me.
Jacob, what do you say about Pan's Labyrinth?
This is one I still need to get around to. I hear nothing but great things about it. I have it. I don't know what's been keeping me from popping it in and watching it, because yeah, I'll scroll through and I'll stop it on Netflix and it'll show that clip where the creature does that, and it looks great, and it's very intriguing, and I don't know why I just haven't popped it in yet. So,
what's the guy's name that plays that creature? Oh my god, I'm looking it up.
Was it Doug Jones?
Doug Jones, yeah, because he does it also.
Jones.
He's also in The Shape of Water.
Abe.
Yeah.
I'm also in the same boat as Jacob. Like, this is one I've been wanting to check out at some stage. I've seen various clips. I've seen the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror parody of it. I've not seen the actual movie, but it doesn't matter. It's going to make this list regardless. And I mean, in response to Cloverfield making this list, Chris did say the comment section was going to be angry for some reason, but then I just responded. But I mean,
that's a
but
goal.
we've got one spot left, and Paige was.
Oh my god, we only have one slot left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, this is when it gets feisty. I didn't even realize that. All right. Oh my lantern.
No to whatever you're about to say, Paige.
Yeah, I know. Screw all you guys. Yeah, everyone wants their pick on this, so this should be interesting. Oh man, I'm between like.
Jacob, it's too hard for him. He just left.
I know. I pissed him off. For me, oh my gosh. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go with this one. For me, actually, I don't know. You know what? It has one of the most messed up endings in any film history ever, I think. And I'm going with Stephen King / Frank Darabont's The Mist. I think the ending to that film is bonkers. Sorry, spoiler. I'm not even going to spoil it for you, but I'm letting you know the ending is the most messed up movie in the entire world. And it's insane. And like the film definitely like has more of like a sci-fi element to it in a sense too, with like the creatures and the different dimensions opening up into our world. But it also shows how humans can become monsters themselves from disaster happening around them, kind of in a sense too. So for me, I'm going with The Mist because it's not only the creatures, it's the humans in it that start to all go batshit crazy. So
Kiri, what do you say about The Mist?
I say yes. I think as soon as I heard Paige say it has one of the most fucked up endings, and knowing what decade this is, I knew exactly what she was talking about. And it differs from the short story I think it was based on, and that's kind of part of what made it so terrifying. Is I was expecting one thing, and the director and the writer of this movie totally kind of switched it up here. And I think this is genuinely a terrifying monster movie. So I say yes.
Jacob, what do you say about The Mist?
It was on my list, so I'll give it a yes and give it that last spot. Yeah, that ending is that ending. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. That ending.
But yeah, unfortunately, I missed this movie in theaters.
Yes.
All right, I'm leaving.
I mean, no, no. In all seriousness, I have no idea if I've seen The Mist or The Fog. I know I've seen one of them.
it is confusing because they're very similar titles. I was actually talking to Brendan Myers in the Schmodown, and he said, "I haven't seen this movie because the ending got ruined for me, and that just changes everyone's game-changing ability for it." So, but go see it, even if you, go see it.
But yeah, with that being said, The Mist is the final spot. Chad, what would you have said about The Mist?
And check out Brendan Meyer in The Color Out of Space. That's fucking crazy movie. But no, The Mist. We're talking about The Mist. Yes, The Mist. Stephen King story. We totally got to get Stephen King on here, and I think Stephen King has actually praised the ending of this movie. Like, he likes when you do creative things to his work, not when you kind of just take out all the heart and soul out of the movie, like The Shining. I still love The Shining, it's got one of the craziest, heart-wrenching endings ever, and I think that's so awesome. But yes, all the dynamics in this weird supermarket that they have to hole up in. I think a lot of the really cool parts in this movie are also done super, super well in a new show by Mike Flanagan, Midnight Mass. Check that shit out because it's great. But I would have totally said yes to The Mist because this movie is amazing. So, yeah.
Guys, we did a really good job agreeing on movies. I feel like I've been on the show before and it's been feisty. So,
but that being said, our 12 movies have been said and making the list. We got Shaun of the Dead, 2009's Friday the 13th, The Strangers, The Descent, Final Destination, Trick or Treat, Sweeney Todd, Cabin Fever, Jennifer's Body, Cloverfield, Pan's Labyrinth, and The Mist. Jacob, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
I do like the first Saw movie. I think it's pretty good. Probably would have brought it up if it got back to me, but I like Freddy versus Jason. I know he's very divisive as a director, but I do like Rob Zombie's. I like Halloween 2 more. I'm meh on the first Halloween, but I do like Halloween 2 and The Devil's Rejects. I think they're pretty good. I don't know if they're top 12 worthy, but close enough for me to bring them up. So that's what I had.
I mean, for me, someone mentions I had, Zombieland is one that is a horror comedy I really like. I actually, out of the Saw franchise, and I just rewatched this just moments before so it could change, but Saw 2 is my favorite one out of the Saw franchise. And a movie that came up on the whole list on Wikipedia, but I'm not too sure if I would consider it a horror movie myself, American Psycho. And I did like the remake of The Omen that came out in this decade. I am one of those people who prefer Jason X. I really love it. It's a lot of fun.
Dude, crazy shit, man. What are you
And the
smoking
last
over
one I
there,
will
man?
mention is for Stephen King adaptations. What do you know? Eight is underrated. It's a lot of fun. But Chad, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Oh yes, I had a lot of great ones, but I had to pick and choose the ones that have been seen. I think, and a lot of these other ones may not have. I almost said "Let the Right One In." If I had another shot, I would have done that one because that movie's amazing. I really love Bill Paxton's "Frailty." That's another really great
Yes, I
film that I
haven't
love.
seen that movie, but I've heard such
Oh,
good
check
things.
it out. And then another really big slow burn movie that I love, House of the Devil. And then Guillermo del Toro's Devil's Backbone. It's like a companion piece to Pan's Labyrinth. And then another one he produced, The Orphanage or El Orfanato. And then the first Saw. But like if you love the first Saw, you probably like a lot of the other Saws. They're pretty good if you like that type of shit. 28 Days Later. I'm surprised that didn't come up. Scream 3. I love all the Screams. Bubba Hotep. We didn't finish, but it's really funny, and I'm excited to finish it. And then, yeah, Zombieland, like Malcolm said. A lot of great ones.
Paige, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Some that I had were Signs. I was surprised none of us said that.
Signs, yes. I
Yeah,
had that on my honorable mention, too.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Mhm.
Those messed up movies. For me, I love Darkness Falls, and no, it's not. It's really, I rewatched it this year. It's not a good movie, but when I was younger and I first watched that movie, it scared the shit out of me. A lot of people haven't seen this movie with Bradley Cooper, and it's called The Midnight Meat Train. It might be on Netflix. I'm not too sure, but people go check it out because that movie is fucked up. And obviously, like Dawn of the Dead. What other movies did I have on here? I was also thinking I'm a Quentin Tarantino fan. Everyone knows that. Death Proof really isn't a horror movie, but it does have sense of it. So I would have put like Death Proof on there as an honorable mention as well.
Kerry, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Yeah, this was the period where I like 2000 and 2010. I was just getting old enough to start watching horror movies. So, and I think some of the movies you watch when you're younger remain with you and remain the scariest. So some of the ones I would have said that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid were The Exorcism of Emily Rose, the first Saw, The Orphanage, like Chad said, The Skeleton Key, The Others, and
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, and Signs and The Ring were the first two horror movies I ever saw in theaters. So those hold a special place in my heart.
And some that have been mentioned in the chat, most of them have been said anyway, but Chris mentioned Saw 1408, 28 Days and Weeks Later, the Dawn of the Dead, The Ring, and apparently he thinks Wreck has a very scary ending.
Yeah, he texted me. He said, have you seen Wreck? I was like, no, I'm sorry, dude. I haven't seen it.
What's the remake that we got? What's the American remake?
Quarantine.
Quarantine. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it. Yeah. I heard the Wreck's better though.
But yeah, Jonathan Caro, who's going to be on 2010's next week.
Joyride.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Candy cane.
And then Brian brought up Scary Movie Coraline.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not like Monster House is fine. And I think Scary Movie 2, like out of those Scary Movies.
Yep, I agree. Scary Movie 2 all day, man.
But even then, like that was really low on my list. So it wasn't on my high priority. But anyway, we're going to get to the point we get to vote.
The whiteboard now. Ooh.
Yeah.
I
mean, this is a
small
pretty
screen
easy
to look at
decision
there.
for me.
All right, so we go bottom up, right?
Yeah, so we're doing starting with number 12.
This is tough.
All right, I just wrote too big. But...
Anyway, Chad, what do you have for
I haven't
12?
seen this one. I'm gonna throw out Cabin Fever as the
Um,
number 12.
Paige, what do you have for 12?
I wrote Sweeney Todd and the Demon Baker. I also did not know it had a subtitle to it called The Demon Barber. Oh, I said Baker. Yeah, see? That's why it's so top on my list.
That's a sequel. Tim Burton make it.
Yeah, okay.
Kerry, what did you have at 12?
I also said one of the ones I haven't seen, Cloverfield.
Jacob.
That's the one I said I haven't seen it. So Cloverfield.
Yo, crazy man.
Yeah, I've got 2009's Friday the 13th, but Cloverfield is going to be 12.
Damn, that's a long one, Paige. What are you doing there?
What I just erased.
Yeah.
But I at least wrote the right title now.
But anyway, Paige, what do you have?
I wrote Sweeney Todd and the Demon Barber.
A Fleet Street.
I went with Cabin Fever just because that's the other one I haven't seen.
Jacob.
I went with the other one I haven't seen, Pan's Labyrinth.
I'm sticking with Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that, Malcolm. Sorry, Paige.
Y'all are crazy. That would have been my number one. Spoiler alert, I'm not erasing my board.
It's tough.
It's so weird from going, I have my full screen right now of all of you guys, and then when I go to small screen to look at the private chat, it's so like it's so small. I don't know. I'm also blind. I'm not wearing my glasses right now, so. Oh, you have a black cat. What's the black cat's name in Hocus Pocus?
It is Thackeray Banks.
Yes.
Oh, is that really the cat's name?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's weird. I guessed that right.
Yes.
But Kerry, what do you have at a 10?
I stayed with Cabin Fever.
Jacob.
Yeah, I went with Cabin Fever also.
I went with Pan's Labyrinth just because I haven't seen it. Chad.
Cabin Fever.
Paige.
Sweeney Todd and the Demon. I'm gonna think of something cooler.
Barber of Fleet Street.
Yep.
Demon Podcaster.
I think anybody who tries to put Pan's Labyrinth still this low is going to watch it and go, "What did I do?" But I'm probably
haven't
overhyping.
seen it. I always
the
do
black
movies
cat
I haven't
right
seen
now.
First.
It's all right.
Making
It's
it
like
more
Paige's number one has already been voted onto the list. Now my number one's been voted on the list.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. I still haven't erased my board. Spoiler alert.
But Jacob, what do you have at 9?
I'm not sure why I erased my board last time because I still haven't seen it. Pan's Labyrinth.
I don't know. I thought you may have seen it in between voting. Oh yeah, but
Like the Flash.
But yeah, I've got Pan's Labyrinth. Chad.
Yeah, throw up Sweeney Todd.
Paige.
Sweeney Todd and the Demon Podcaster.
And Kerry.
Oh, real movie. Her vote doesn't count.
Sweeney Todd.
Finally,
shit.
you can erase my board now.
Well, there goes my number one.
Now it kind of gets tough.
I'm glad it's top 10. I expected it to be number 12. So.
What's going on out there?
Oh, fuck.
Sweeney Todd's actually in my top 5 of all time. I love that movie.
That's what's up,
Ooh.
dude.
Ah.
I love when
my
people are
God.
stands of something. That's great.
Oh my god, I don't know what the hell to put.
I'm between two. Oh, no.
I'm wondering why I erased my board. I'll just rewrite it. Here we go.
I did that the first time too. I was like, why did I do that?
I just did that, and I would.
But
Podcast.
I've still got pads. I've still got pads lamp with Chad. What do you have?
I'm between a few, but I just went with the mist.
Paige,
I put The Descent.
Ooh.
Curie.
I'm surrendering. Pan's Labyrinth. Just
Oh,
because
what?
I know.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Damn it, dude.
I haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying damn it to her.
He's
He's saying
He's
damn it
mad
to
at
you,
me.
dude. Anyway.
She's seen it.
I just erased
No
my board again. What the fuck? I gotta figure out how to fix the glare on my thing. My whiteboard's too shiny, I guess.
Right now, a lot of boards just erased. So let's see.
Alright. Chad, what do you have at 7?
Yeah, I'll stick with the mist. I think it's a good 7.
The
Paige,
Descent.
Kerry,
I said the miss.
Jacob.
I went with the mist.
Motherfuckers, dude. What the fuck?
I went with the strangers.
Okay, we had very similar taste throughout this whole
I
thing. Now
know.
I don't know what's going on, girl. All right, so that was The Mist is number 7.
Yep.
And I just fucking erased my board. God damn it.
Oh no.
Happens to the best of us.
It does. Alright. Paige, what do you have at 6?
The Descent.
I
Kerry,
have Jennifer's Body.
Jacob.
I went with the Descent also.
I went with the strangers. Chad.
All right, Jennifer's Body.
Oh my land! And now we have to vote
Oh.
between those two.
No.
All right, no, well, no. We don't have to vote between these two. It's up to Malcolm, right?
It's like the chat.
Yeah, so
Is
we
it
got
the
2
chat?
for Descent, 2 for no, because I was the only one that didn't go for either the Descent
Oh.
or Jennifer's Body.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it is going to be this one. I'm just not going to reveal it. I'm just going to make the banner because just to build suspense. Because that is what I do.
No.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Hey, don't
Feels
erase
like
your
we're
board.
attacking Paige.
You guys
I
are
know.
meanie boginis.
Well, sorry.
I mean, it's just that for me, I like the Descent a little bit more. Like, they're both kind of in my top 20, so... but now we move on to the 5. And just to remind everyone what we've got left, we've got Shaun of the Dead, The Strangers, The Descent, Final Destination, and Trick or Treat.
That is a good top 5, I must say.
Yes.
But
What the hell? The kitty got to you now too?
Yeah, he just went down. I wasn't
It's the
giving
same
him
cat.
food, so he went to Chad.
Would you give
Kerry,
me
what do you
food?
have? Kerry, what do you have at 5?
I'll surrender and say The Descent. I just wanted it a little bit higher.
Jacob.
I've got the Descent.
I went The Strangers. Chad.
Strangers. Since better.
Paige.
The Descent, because The Strangers is
Damn it.
amazing. All right, now this is it gets a real
I
hard
know.
for me. All right, so
Yeah.
All right, so we have Shaun of the Dead, The Strangers, Final Destination, and Trick or Treat.
Yep.
Look at that. I got a decent memory.
Jacob, what do you have it for?
I said Trick or Treat.
I'm sticking with the Strangers.
I'm gonna stick with Strangers as well.
Paige.
Well, I went with Trick or Treat, motherfuckers.
Kiri.
I went with Final Destination.
Oh, so you make the decision, Carrie.
Oh no!
The
Wait,
Strangers or Trick or Treat?
I'm gonna go with Trick or Treat.
That's what I thought. Oh wait, really?
I really like. I love them both. This is so hard.
You already said
I love
Trick or
all of
Treat,
these
bro.
so much. I know,
All right.
but The Strangers to me is scary.
Well, you don't have a stranger shirt, so I didn't
I
know.
know. Well, they don't make
mean-
Strangers shirts. They make like
Oh,
1,000
really?
Trick or Treat.
I'll make
shirts.
you one. Don't you worry.
All right, that's a promise from Paige.
Next New York event or Boston event.
All right. Oh, we're totally probably going to come to the Boston one.
Yeah,
Smart
that's not
people,
far
smart
for
people.
us.
But Jacob, what do you have it for?
I went with Final Destination.
I went with The
Oh, wait.
Strangers.
I don't have it on my board, but I'm staying with the strangers.
Paige
I went The Strangers as well.
and Kiri.
Yeah, it seemed the way this was going.
Oh, that's right. We'll go with the number one this time.
Oh
yeah.
Wow. Okay,
I've been on enough rankums.
that's right. No, I'm just surprised.
I almost would have written down my number 2, and I've been on this a couple times, so silly me.
I mean, it's one of those ones that a lot of people do still do it.
I may just host the show next time, Malcolm. Let's
Damn.
see.
This
You
one's
came
actually
back-
the easiest decision so far.
You came
That was a
back.
joke. He's a dope host.
I'll teach you something. I'm sorry.
Right. But Chad, what do you have at number 1?
There's no surprise. Shaun of the Dead.
Paige, what do you have at number 1?
I actually put Final Destination because I think the
Nice.
premise of that film is just so unique in itself, and how death can haunt you in all the wrong ways. And I don't know why I'm like preaching to you guys, because you guys already wrote answers on the board, so it doesn't matter. But yeah.
Kiri, what do you have at number 1?
I said Shaun of the Dead.
Jacob.
I also went Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I went Final Destination.
Wow.
Nice.
But Shaun of the Dead is going to be number 1.
Final Destination would have been a really cool number one too. 'cause
Yeah.
It's such a great like 2000s movie, but
But you know what, though? When you think of, like, I don't know, Shaun of the Dead, though, definitely when you, out of all these films, like, I would probably recommend,
yeah.
like, Shaun of the Dead, like, right off the bat to someone. Like, have you seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yep. There's a great trilogy in general too.
Exactly. I can't pronounce what it's called. What is it called? The
Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah, there you go. Cornetto.
But just to recap our top 12, at number 12, we've got Cloverfield. At number 11, we've got 2009's Friday the 13th. At number 10, we've got Cabin Fever. At number 9, we've got Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber Baker podcast of Fleet Street. At number 8, we've got Pan's Labyrinth. At number 7, we've got The Mist. At 6, we got Jennifer's Body. At 5, we got The Descent. At 4, we got Trick or Treat. At 3, we got The Strangers. At 2, we got Final Destination. And at number 1, we got Shaun of the Dead.
So proud of us, guys. So proud. We made a very good list, I think.
Yeah.
I
You can
agree.
see all the movies I have not alphabetized yet to my collection.
But with that being said, next week we're going to 2010s. It's the final stop before we get to the all-time horror movies on the weekend of Halloween. But with that being said, Chad, where can people find you online?
Yep, I'm writing it down just now. Okay, so over on my buddy's channel, it's the Dill Pickle Movie Network. We do a show called Picture This, and we, every month we do a year of the Oscars. We watch through all the nominees, the winner of each year, and so we rank the films, we talk about them, we talk about the year in general, we talk about all the actresses and actors from those movies that we love, and it's a really great time. We just did 1973 with The Exorcist, and that'll be out later this month. And Paige has expressed interest in
I was
coming
gonna
on
say
the
we
show.
talked about this a while ago, and I was just like,
Well,
wait,
we've made an
Sounds
executive
fascinating.
decision to wait until 2022 to figure out how to do guests. But we're having a lot of fun. We look forward to maybe having some guests on, and it's a really fun time. He has a great channel. He just reached 100 subscribers over there. He does a lot of other great stuff like movie reviews and stuff. So maybe check it out, give it a like and subscribe. And I also do a lot of trivia and stuff. I do a lot of debate over at TMG. I'm doing like singles, teams. I'm trying to jump into the geek realm. So I'm having some fun over there. Maybe one day I can get to the Paige level. I don't know. We'll see.
Paige, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you guys can check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Front Page News 9. You can also check me out in the Schmodown. I'm pretty sure my team's match, the Untouchables, with Drew McQueenie against Dane Co's Weird Boys Danger Zone drop on Thursday. So you guys should definitely check it out. And I face the great Griffin Newman in round 3 of the Schmodown. So stay tuned, guys. May the odds be in my favor. Got a lot of respect for the boy, but Boston always beats New York. So
hell yeah, dude. Paige is the best.
Kiri, where can people find you online?
If you want to see pictures of, of my cats, like the one that was on my screen a few minutes ago, you can follow me on Instagram at Carrie Elizabeth.
Where's the kitty?
Jacob, where can people find you
He
online?
blended in.
Oh, and that one, yeah, you can barely see him.
I'm around. I like to talk movies, so I like to be on these types of shows whenever I can. So, yeah.
You can find me on Take 3 Productions hosting Rankum every Saturday. You'll see me next week when we go into 2010's.
Great day.
You'll find me hosting late nights sometimes on Sundays. We're not doing one tomorrow, but we'll probably have one the week after where we break down DC fandom as well as maybe talk about different topics. I haven't decided if I'm going to try and cram a lot of stuff into this one episode or just do fandom, because a lot of stuff did drop at fandom, let's be honest. We've now got a letterbox for our channel. Take 3 Production, because I forgot the S at the end. I will post the lists from Rankum up there. I'll probably post them the day after, so people have a chance to actually watch this and maybe yell at us some more.
Hell yeah!
I want the feedback and the anger, guys. Give it to us.
I mean, as I said to Chris, like I don't think I've ever put a poll up on the Take 3 page or and not had anyone with comments about their dislike of movies on the list. It'll be with Friday the 13th, 2009. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that one. I mean, I appreciate you love the movie, but I don't think a lot of people do. But
nonsense.
You can also find me hosting trivia over on Full Metal, and you can also actually find me on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern over on the Movie Hero channel, where we're doing a tournament fights of my top 64 movies of all time. Jacob's done an episode like that over there.
I have. My new favorite movie is Mary Poppins, apparently.
But
good film, though.
So there'll be a lot of fun. Check that out. I'll probably share that on the day of when that's happening. But until next time, we'll see you next week for 2010's horror movies. And yeah, as I end the broadcast, and it takes